Hey y'all, we're here at Lucky Dog Lodge, where I bring Luna Bell for daycare. I've been bringing Luna Bell here for a while, and Luna Bell loves it, and I love it. We're here with Julie and Courtney, and have them tell you let me tell you, Lucky Dog Lodge is a little different from anywhere else you've been. So Julie, tell us a little bit about yourself, how you ended up here. You have a lot of dogs yourself though, right?
I do. I have 4 German Shepherds. I ended up here. I initially started my animal welfare career, if you will. I had a rescue in South Florida for American Bulldogs. And that's where it all started. And then when I moved to Louisiana, I did a lot of horse training and things like that, and then took on a role at Denham Springs Animal Shelter. And then I went to Baton Rouge. So my main experience has been in shelter management, in kenneling that way. And then I happened to be working someplace else and saw the opportunity here, and I've been here for 3.5 years, and it's been a great experience to be on the happy side of animal welfare now versus the other side.
Courtney,
Yes,
introduce yourself.
I'm Courtney Finnan. I'm the owner of Lucky Dog Lodge. We started it about 6 years ago, in 2018. Basically always worked in veterinary hospitals. I started volunteering when I was 12 years old at shelters and vets, and worked all through high school and college. And then after college, I worked in the corporate world for a while. My second son was born with special needs, I guess we'll say, and wasn't able to hold down a regular job just because of his medical situation. So went back to my first love and started walking dogs and pet sitting and all that on the side when I could. And then Lucky is my golden retriever, who was gifted to my son Patrick to be a service dog.
Oh, nice. That's where the name comes
That's where
from.
the name comes from.
Okay, see, I'm from New Orleans, so I saw Lucky Dog, and the
And you
first
saw
thing
the
I
hot
think
dogs.
is the hot dog truck in the French Quarter.
Right, that's another thing.
So that you traveled a lot and looked at a lot of places
Oh, yeah.
and studied how to do it.
Been all over
right.
the country. The main thing that upset me about a lot of facilities is the stress level on the dogs. When you would go back there, everybody's barking, the dogs were just not as happy as everybody made it seem. And so what I wanted to find out is, okay, how can we build a facility that's going to be quieter, cleaner, safer? All of those things reduce stress on dogs.
Right.
And so I started talking to experts that had built all these facilities that I did like. And we're very compartmentalized. We have a limited number of dogs in each room. Each room has its own air ventilation system. All the air in the building is replaced every 7 minutes to reduce odors and infectious diseases and things like that. We have the UV air sanitizing system. We have central wet-dry vacuum systems. Everything we could do, we did to try and just make it as clean and safe as possible. And then the rooms are for noise control as well. You know, every room has the cinder block walls to try and reduce the sound passing from one room to the other. And then our signature suites, each room has its own individual air system, and it's completely its own room. So
you do daycare, obviously, and what you do, overnight boarding?
overnight boarding and daycare, and then you basic spa service, you know, basic bath and blow dry. And then we have some specialty things that we do that's mostly Julie and the staff that will do enrichment training.
We have brain enrichments and we have physical enrichments. You know, we do have an agility course that we will set up for, you know, some work there, you know, to get them physically working and their minds working with that as well. One of their favorite enrichments that we have are the nose game type stuff, you know, where like we'll take, you know, high value treats and we'll place them randomly, you know, throughout the yard. And then like Luna Bell, when she does a scent trail, it's like she watches exactly where they're placed, and she'll go and she'll touch each one and move it out just a little bit from where it is, find them all in the system they got put down, and then she'll come back and eat them all.
Really?
Yes.
But that, I know that's really important for dogs to keep their brains working. You know, you got to keep a dog's brain working as much as you keep their body working.
But that's one of the things about us here. is that we individualize based on who's here that day in terms of the dogs that we're caring for. And we listen to what the dogs are telling us every day. You know, some days it's just like people. Some days they come in and they're just ready to go and having a great day. And other days they come in and it's just not their best day, you know. We're small enough to be able to individualize that care.
I noticed there's a time in the middle of the day where the cameras go off.
We believe here that, you know, if the dog is here from 6 a.m. to 11, that's 5 hours of nonstop. And it can be a little overstimulating for some. So we think that that nap time to give them a break for an hour and a half during the middle of the day is most beneficial for the dogs, to just let them go and get a rest and a recharge, and then we come back for afternoon session.
Yeah. So the evaluation you do, when you first bring a dog in, they have to be evaluated. What's that process?
Well, the process is, you know, when somebody reaches out to us, we'll go ahead and create a profile for them. And then we require every dog to come in for an evaluation before they can stay here. And that process is basically a complimentary day of daycare where the dog comes in. And the first portion of the evaluation is, you know, how our staff can handle them throughout the facility, moving them from the suites to the outside, how they are walking through the kennels and things like that. They're looking for any seeking and searching, because we don't take aggressive dogs here. Then at 1 o'clock, when our nap time is getting over, we bring the dog out to probably 3 or 4 dogs already in the yard and see how they are in that smaller group. And then from there, we'll introduce the entire pack that's here that day and see how it goes. You know, daycare also helps with separation anxiety in dogs. You know, it provides an outlet for their energy and things throughout the day, you know. And it's funny because you see a lot of dogs that the owner tells you it's going to be a certain way. And then when you actually get it away from the owner, they're totally different, you know. Like it's funny to see sometimes, you know, the owners are like, oh, well, you know, they don't really like other dogs, but that's not true. They love other dogs. They're just protective of the owner when the owner is present, you know. So I think that might, you know, cause some people to not even try daycare for their dogs because they just don't think, because they're reactive at the end of a leash or something.
Dogs can be like people. They don't all like daycare. They're not all sociable, and so we offer individualized care as well for dogs, where they don't have to be, if they don't like playgroup, we're not going to force it. They can still come here. They can still do daycare, but they will play a one-on-one with a staff member in a side yard.
Okay, so they're not being put in a kennel or put away and ignored. They're being tended to away from the big group.
There are times of the day, yes, when if they can't go into the group, yes, they will go in a suite, but the staff will go and get them and take them out and play with them individually. You know, so daycare doesn't always have to be about the dog going into a big group.
I tell you, this is really impressive. I mean, this is real impressive. I knew a few things about Lucky Dog. I knew I liked it. I know Luna Bell loves it. When I pick Luna Bell up, she doesn't want to go home. She wants to come back here.
Right.
When I bring her in the mornings, I don't even get into the parking lot, and she's jumping around whining.
Most of the clients, their dogs are like that.
And I pull up in the parking lot. I open the door, she's at the front door. I open the front door, she's at the back door waiting. She knows exactly where to go. She's ready and raring to go, and everybody's just so friendly to her here. It's so nice. I really appreciate you guys. You guys, this is learning what actually goes on behind the scenes here, and how this got to be.
There's a lot of work that goes on back here, you know. Yeah, we help get the energy out during the day. You know, we help with the potty training essentially for puppies, because when they go up for nap time, you know, like they're used to being able, they're like on that schedule of, okay, I'm going in and now I'm going out to potty. So, you know, we're helping with all those aspects as
I didn't
well.
even think about that. I would never have associated potty training with daycare. That's so cool.
It's not something that like we directly set out, okay, we're going to start potty training this, but inherently it just goes along with
Goes
it.
on. Okay, cool,
You know,
cool. So nice. So for people who are working, who leave their dogs home all day, daycare can be a really healthy option that really just helps the dogs out. Sometimes she comes home really tired. Sometimes she comes home and she's still got some energy. And, you know, I guess it depends just on what other dogs were here and what kind of day
Every single
she
day
had.
is different. Yes.
But it just dawned on me that usually when I look at the cameras, I think I'm looking at this yard and that room, and I'm like, oh wait, they usually are bigger than this. This is that same room. Okay, cool, cool.
We have a lot more medium-sized dogs right now, so we just kind of restructured our yards a little bit. But if we didn't have any smalls, then, you know, we have flexibility here, where we can change what yards we're using just depending on the amount of dogs that are here every day. So if we did have more dogs than we're comfortable in these, you know, indoor outdoor part right here, we can always take the wall down and just add a second attendant out here and give them the whole space, and move the other group of dogs down a yard over there, you know. So we do have flexibility to do that. Every day is unique, and we do our best every day to be safe with everybody. Safety is paramount. So, you know, we make our provisions each day for who's here.
And so every morning Julie will sit down with the staff or RJ, and they'll look at the temperaments. They'll look at who's here. What do our groups look like? Who can go in this group? Who can't go in this group? And we'll adjust the walls if we need to. We'll adjust the times they go out if we need to.
I think the first couple of times I just brought her in, and I think Talon or whoever was up front said, you know, we prefer you get online and make a reservation first. And I'm like, I can get online and do that? She goes, yeah, you know, you can get online and make an account. And then a few weeks later, she's like, you know, we have an app now. And I'm like, really?
It makes it easier so we can plan our play groups, but no.
But I
it's
love
not
reservations,
required.
absolutely. But we don't absolutely require it, so.
And like Luna Bell just had her annual checkup, her annual shots and stuff. And, you know, I can just bring that home, slap it on my printer to scan it, and upload it on my account.
Nobody wants to know why nobody's running around playing.
Like, where's all my friends?
Yeah, she just goes and sits and watches.
See, I don't know about having dad at school. My friends aren't in here.
Well, you never like having your parents at school.
It's not
That's
cool,
right.
Dad. Not cool.
It's like,
Especially when he's meeting with the principals.
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, Dad, can you drive me to the prom, but can you drop me off about 3 blocks away?
Right. Uh-huh.
Right.
Well, thank you guys for all this. This has been fascinating, and just I personally, I think y'all are probably the best deal in town.
Thank you.
I just, y'all are so unique and individualized and being compartmentalized. It's just what you guys do is just amazing to have an alternative to the warehouse. And if the warehouse works for somebody, more power
Right.
to them. But for
Right.
me and my dog, I prefer this. This works for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
How can people get in touch with you and learn more?
They can give us a call at 225-402-4444, or they can visit our website, which is luckydogLodgeLA.com. We've got some information there. We've got a link to go ahead and make a registration, and contact us that way.
Cool. All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate the opportunity.
And so does Luna Bell.
Lunabelle, you ready to play?
Well, she's just all over the place checking everything out.
Gotta make sure everything's right.
All right, Luna Bell, today we're reading the section, What to Do If the Dog Won't Come When Called. Something, yeah, you're way familiar with. Oh, hey y'all. Today on Dog Eared, I want to show you a book that I think is real important, especially for first-time owners. It is published by American Kennel Club. It's the official AKC guide to the Canine Good Citizen. Canine Good Citizen is a certification you can get. It's 10 things that you have to teach your dog. This is the book that is geared towards that. You don't have to take the test and get the certification. Just doing the training by itself is real valuable. There are 10 points in here they go through. Accepting a friendly... Okay, geese. Accepting a friendly stranger, sitting politely for petting, appearance and grooming, out for a walk on a leash, walking with a loose leash, basically, walking through a crowd, sit and down on command, staying in place, coming when called, reaction to another dog, reaction to distractions, supervised separation, and there's some other things in here. But this goes through and tells you how to teach each of these and how to handle them. Like grooming, brushing and combing, desensitizing your dog to the equipment if your dog reacts to grooming equipment. How to handle the feet, how to handle bathing. I mean, this isn't going to make you an expert groomer. This isn't going to, that's just one section. But like when an off-leash dog won't come, here's what you do to help train them to get that recall to be a little better. There's just so much in this book. I recommend that everybody, every first-time dog owner, get this book and read it cover to cover and do all the training in here. Do this with your dog. Therapy dogs, what we usually call therapy dogs, are dogs that you take to like a children's hospital or retirement home, somewhere where people can pet the dog. It brings up oxytocin levels, it brings blood pressure and heart rate down. It's just really good for people to be around dogs and pet them and stuff. And that dog has to be very calm and very well behaved to be allowed into those facilities. Even if you're not doing that, you just want a well-behaved dog, this is an excellent place to start training your dog. American Kennel Club's Canine Good Citizen. I think it's like a $15, $16 book, so it's not real expensive, and I highly recommend it. Even if you've had a dog for a while, there's a lot you can still get out of this book. And if you want more information on the Canine Good Citizen program, I mean, all that information's in here, but you can go to the AKC site, the akc.org site, and in their programs and products section under dog training, there's a section for Canine Good Citizen. You get more information. But so today on Dog Eared, this is our recommended book, Canine Goods, the official AKC guide to Canine Good Citizen. Make sure I get that right. And look, train, don't complain. There you go. Now, you ready for us to get back to this section about when a dog doesn't come when called? Let me read some of this to you, and we're gonna get some things settled here today. What to do if the dog won't come when called. After everything good owner should do, there's a good chance you'll be embarrassed, frustrated, angry if the dog completely ignores you. Luna Bell?
Hello and welcome to another Capital K9s movie recommendation of the week. I'm Bill Arsenault, Hollywood South film critic. Director Tim Burton, ever since the 1980s, has been known for his most interesting style of visual storytelling and perspective. His gothic and darkened takes on fairy tales that are of the more contemporary variety have ranged from Edward Scissorhands to, yes, even Batman Returns. And they've attracted audiences and inspired countless kids of all ages. Now, early in his career, he made a very inventive short film about a deceased dog who was brought back to life by his loving child companion. Now, it may not be Halloween yet, but I'm selecting for this segment Frankenweenie. His live action short film was made very early in his burgeoning career, but he eventually came back to the material with his 2012 stop motion animation feature length film, which is the version that we're talking about right now. Set in an average ish American town with an average ish American family, Frankenweenie has twisted charm and black and white wonder. It's been described as a parody of the old Universal horror films, specifically, of course, the James Whale directed Frankenstein. But I like to think of Frankenweenie as being a very personal childhood reckoning with growing up. It's about Victor Frankenstein and his dog Sparky, who unfortunately does die in an accident. Now, refusing to give up on his friend, Victor brings Sparky back to life in very much the same electric manner that the original Mad Doctor once did. When his classmates find out what's been done, sooner than later, an army of reanimated pets run amok across the town, leaving Sparky and Victor to clean up the mess. Frankenweenie has mature themes, of course, but I believe that this can be seen by children if they're given some context and understanding. Concepts like death, maturity, ignorance, and acceptance swirl throughout the film, and wonderfully so. Now, drama can have happy endings, and kids can watch movies that get very serious. Frankenweenie blends both into something not so far from beyond the grave, something that's dear to our hearts. You can stream Frankenweenie today on Disney+. For more reviews, recommendations, and ruminations on the whole of cinema, you can subscribe to my online newsletter and blog located at www.moviegoing.rocks. And you can find me on the Blue Sky app. Support Louisiana Film and support your local animal shelter.
Yeah, I'm going to show you how to do touch. Touch is it's a fun thing to do. It's a cool thing to do, but it comes in handy in teaching so many other things. We're basically going to teach to touch your nose to your hand. You put your hand out and it'll touch. Touch. Yes, good girl. Touch. Yes, good girl. And you're going to start off and you're going to put your hand right in front of their face. And they're naturally just going to want to sniff like, are you giving me what is there? So just see, she sniffs and I go, and I'm going to give her a treat. Now you want to mark. If you've got a clicker, you're going to click your clicker. If you don't use a clicker, yes, in a happy, really staccato kind of way. Yes. You want to mark that moment. So, some people insist you have to put the treat in front of your hand. Yes. And do that. Here's a trick. I did it when I was teaching her, and some people can do it, some people can't. If you can't, don't sweat it. But I actually put the treat between my fingers. Yes. Yes. And I let her have the treat right out of my hand. And eventually you want to come out, you want to start adding distance. So you're going to come out about a foot or so. Yes, yes. And you see, I'm not giving a command. We're just getting her to do it. So once you've added distance and they're successfully doing it, you want to add the verbal command touch. and you give that command first, like this. Touch. Yes. Good girl, good girl, good girl. And you're going to add more and more distance, and once you get some distance, start adding the word touch. And you're going to say touch before you do anything. Touch. Yes, good girl, good girl, good girl. And eventually you're going to want to start using the other hand also. Once they start getting to one hand, switching to the other hand should be real easy. Touch. Yes, good girl, good girl, good girl. And of course, once they're really good at it, touch. Yes, good girl, good girl. And again, I'm scratching the neck as part of my reward, again, because you want to desensitize your dog for you going to their neck. Dogs don't like you, most people or other dogs, messing with their necks. It's a vulnerable place. But you want to be able to get to your dog's neck without them freaking out or being defensive and pulling away, because if you're in an emergency situation, you need to grab their collar. If they don't have a collar, you got to scruff them. You want that, and this is an opportunity to desensitize that. Touch. Yes, good girl, good girl. Touch. Yes, my good girls, yes. Touch. Yes, my good girl, my good girl. So, this can also be taken to objects. Put a Post-it note on your hand. Hold a plastic lid or something in your hand and do touch. And eventually you'll move it out. You'll hold that plastic lid between your fingers down here, or you'll put that sticky note at the edge of your fingers and eventually put it on something or put it on the ground and point to it and do touch. So, see, she'll do it without me saying the command. She's a little more hesitant without the verbal command. Yeah, she's a precious girl. Touch. Touch. Yes, good girl. She knows I've got treats. She's too smart for me. Yes, yes. So, and then move your hand in different places. Touch. Now you see, she's going up from my hand because she doesn't like to raise her head too much. Touch. Good girl, good girl. So you want to be able to move your hand in different places. So work on that, get your dog to do that, and it'll come in handy in the future doing other obedience and trick trainings. Oh, okay, I'll give you some just for being so purties. There you go, for being purties. She's such a sweeties, aren't you?